In the autumn of 1956, a massive crowd gathered in a quiet suburb of Minnesota. They were there to witness the opening of a brand new type of building. It was designed by an Austrian architect named Victor Gruen. But as soon as the people stepped inside, something strange happened to their minds. Their heart rate slowed down, their walking pace grew sluggish, and their eyes became completely blank. They completely forgot why they came, how much money they had, or even what time of day it was. Today, psychologists call this terrifying mental shutdown the Gruen Transfer. Victor Gruen didn't build a shopping center. He built a psychological weapon. When you walk into a modern supermarket today, you think you are in control of your choices. You think you buy things simply because you need them. But the moment you slide through those automatic doors, your free will is stripped away by design. Look at the layout. The very first thing you encounter is the Decompression Zone. It's a wide, brightly lit area filled with the intense smell of fresh flowers or baked goods. This isn't for your enjoyment. It's engineered to shock your brain. The familiar, comforting scents instantly trigger a rush of nostalgia, forcing your defensive guard to drop. Your brain registers safety, and that is exactly when the trap snaps shut. Now, notice which way the path forces you to walk. In over 80% of supermarkets worldwide, the layout forces you to move counterclockwise. Because most humans are right-handed, moving left forces you to constantly look and reach to your right. Your dominant hand is perfectly aligned with the most expensive items on the shelves. But the worst part of the maze is where they hide the things you actually came for. Think about it. Where's the milk? Where's the bread? Where are the eggs? They are never at the front. They are buried at the absolute furthest corners of the building. To get a simple bottle of milk, the architects force you to walk past thousands of items you never intended to buy. As you wander deeper into the grid, the outside world is systematically erased. Have you ever seen a window in the shopping aisles? Have you ever seen a giant wall clock? No. The architects deliberately cut off all external reference points. They want to create a timeless void where your biological clock cannot function. If you don't know how long you've been inside, you won't feel the urgency to leave. Listen to the music playing in the background. It is almost always slow, under 60 beats per minute. Notice the lighting. In the produce and meat sections, they use a specific, warm spectrum that makes apples look redder and meat look fresher than it actually is. Even the floor is a trap. In the expensive aisles, the tiles are made smaller, so your cartwheels click faster, subconsciously tricking you into thinking you are walking too fast. And while you are lost in time, a literal war is being fought at eye level. The shelves are divided into strict psychological zones. The space between 4 and 5 feet off the ground is known as the bullseye zone. This is the most expensive real estate on earth. Brands pay millions of dollars just to place their products here, because it requires zero effort for your eyes to see them and your hand to grab them. The cheaper, generic brands are placed at the very bottom, where you have to physically bend down to find them, but look slightly lower, at about 3 feet off the ground. This is a second, even more sinister target zone. This row is deliberately engineered to match the exact eye level of a child sitting in a shopping cart. It is packed with bright colors, cartoon faces, and sugar-heavy boxes. The system doesn't just manipulate you. It uses your own children to bypass your financial defenses. Finally, you make it to the exit. You think the ordeal is over. But the most intense psychological pressure is waiting for you at the checkout line. It is intentionally narrow, trapping you in a single file line with nowhere to run. This is the impulse zone. Your brain is exhausted from making decisions for the past hour. Your willpower is entirely depleted. And right there, at your fingertips, are small, cheap items, chocolate bars, gum, magazines. They are priced just low enough that your exhausted brain doesn't trigger a financial warning signal. You grab a candy bar without thinking, adding one final fraction of profit to the machine. Now, step out of the supermarket and look at your digital life. Think about the apps you open every single day. You think you open social media or news sites because you choose to. But the digital world was built by the exact same architects who designed the physical maze. The endless scroll is just a decompression zone that never ends. The personalized feed is just a shelf where everything you see is engineered to hit your exact neurochemical bullseye. You aren't exploring a free internet. You are wandering through a highly sophisticated, invisible maze designed to keep you lost. Victor Gruen, the man who started it all, actually regretted his invention before he died. In his final speech, he looked at what his ideas had become and called them bastard developments. He realized he hadn't created communities. He had created an elegant trap, and you are still pushing the cart inside it. Every single day, because in the invisible maze, the exit isn't a way out. It's just the entrance to the next room. You aren't leaving the machine. You are just upgrading your seat inside it. And you are still smiling. Every single day.